Hey guys, we're gonna take a look at every single trainer from the Critter Crash event and figure out what afflators do you should pair them with, what pieces you should seek out for that specific trainer, and so on and so forth. First of all, we're gonna take a look at trainers that don't have a specific pairing and don't have core pieces that they need to seek out, and therefore could be paired and played with everything. So let's start off with the trainer 6. His ability says, when entering battle for each number 6 in the attack or HP of allied pieces, you grant attack +2/+2, you grant attack +2 and HP +2 to all allies. This on the surface sounds pretty damn good because you're granting +2/+2 to all allies is pretty nuts, honestly. There's a big problem here though, and that is that if you look at the critters, if you look at the pieces that are available in this game, pretty much nothing has or starts off with 6 attack or 6 HP. So therefore you would need to have something to buff your pieces, and it has to be in a way to achieve that your pieces have at the beginning of a battle either 6 HP or 6 attack. This is really like not fun to play, and you really have to go out of your way. It's very RNG heavy, and as I said, like there are pretty much no pieces that start off with having 6 attack or 6 HP, and therefore it makes it really a pain in the ass, so to speak, to play 6. I can show you one piece that has 6 attack to begin with, right? It is this factory unit here called the Brain Security Bot. And that's pretty much about it. You won't find any other piece, at least not very many, that start with 6 HP or 6 health. And yeah, therefore I would refrain from playing 6, like honestly just play Sonetto. And yeah, talking about Sonetto, let's take a look at her real quick, because what she does is, you for 1 coin, you grant +1 attack and +1 HP to all of your allies, to all of your pieces. And I just tested this, and this is actually permanent. So your entire board grows by +1/+1 every single turn, right? You can already like realize how much better this is than playing 6. It is much more convenient, much more faster, and you can play it with everything you would possibly want, and it's gonna be good, right? You are not bound to any afflators, or you are not bound to anything. You just want to make sure that you get as many pieces out on your board as fast as possible, and then keep using this ability every single turn, and your board will be good no matter what pieces you actually use. And therefore Sonetto is a pretty good trainer, I would say. Next up we have Lilia. Her ability says, when entering battle you deal 1 damage to all enemy pieces, and every 6 rounds this ability levels up and you gain +3 damage. So this is a trainer that actually deals damage to all of your allies, to all of your enemy pieces. This is solid, that is okay, that is nothing special. This is not as great as it initially sounds, right? Again, you would just prefer to play Sonetto. Like if you compare it, right? Then at turn 6 you have dealt 6 damage to all of your enemy's pieces, but with Sonetto you grant your entire board +6/+6. This is, of course, needless to say, much better than Lilia would be. But you can go for Lilia. She's fun, she's okay, she's solid, right? She's not stuck within specific afflators, you can play with everything, so she's solid, nothing special. Don't overestimate her because she deals damage, right? Don't make that mistake. Then we have Windsong, which, yeah, again, very solid. It says, spend 1 coin to gain preparation. After preparation reaches 3, gain a random level 3 piece in the reward section. Now, this is a little bit of a gamble, of course, because you could get like the worst piece in the game, but on level 3, you know, that is still the worst piece in the game, even though if it is level 3, right? But you could also get like one of the best pieces in the game on level 3, and then this is ridiculous. That's why it is a gamble. It is inconsistent, it has kinda low lows and very, very high highs. The point is though here with this card is that even, let's say you get the worst piece in the game on level 3, that piece is still level 3. So it is still worth the 3 coins. And that's how Winsome guarantees you value and is like not garbage or anything. She's good, trust me, try her out, it's kinda fun. She's not bad by any means. Then next trainer we have is Regulus. Her ability says you gain 6 coins this round immediately, but you lose 6 coins on the next round. And yeah, of course, the turn that you lose 6 coins, you cannot use this ability, obviously, right? Think about it. So this can come in clutch because yeah, this turn you are able to level up your pieces, you can buy the pieces that you want, that you wouldn't normally be able to buy because you wouldn't have the coins. Regulus gives you these coins, you can this turn buy 2 additional pieces, right? As each piece costs 3 coins, she gives you 6. And then you would be like, yeah, peace and love, you would party, right? But next turn you sit there disappointed, broke, and you're gonna cry. That's what you have to keep in mind when you play Regulus. It's fun, it can be clutch, but it can also be detrimental and lose you the game. So this is a skill-based ability. You have to know exactly when to use this ability and when not to use it. That's about Regulus. It's not bad though, it's pretty good. As I said, it can come in clutch. Next up we have Mrs. Garbage Bag, which is a trash bag with Matilda in it. It says, transform into Matilda at the start of round 5. Matilda can refresh the monster log for free 3 times per round. Again, very, very solid. It is very fun to play this. It is very consistent, and yeah, you will be able to find what you need. The problem is obvious. You are only able to do this at round number 5. It is very slow, you have to wait, but when you hit it, it's fun. You can refresh for free 3 times, that's a lot, and you will then be able to upgrade your pieces to find what you want and so on and so forth, right? I mean, you get it. So again, a pretty solid trainer. The last piece, the last trainer that falls into the category that is solid but doesn't have really a synergy. And yeah, we already talked about the 3 best setups and the 3 best trainers, so of course no one here is gonna change the world or anything. But they are solid and you can play them with anything. And one of those is Marcus. His ability says, scouting the enemy's deployment setup no longer costs coins, and you can refresh the monster log for free, like once, right? Once per turn. It's very convenient, it's nothing special, you don't, like, it's almost bad. It's really almost bad. But it is a refreshing thing once per turn, and you get a free look at your enemy's setup. It helps, it's consistent, but yeah, as I already said, it won't change the world. And yeah, that was the last trainer that falls into this category. Now, let's move on to a category with trainers that are actually really, really bad, and you should always refrain from picking those. We have to talk about 37. Her ability says pieces with prime numbered attack and HP both have to be prime numbers, and then they cost you 1 coin less. I mean, reading this I have to laugh because this is absolutely pathetic. Like, how many coins will this actually save you per game? Maybe 3 or 4. It literally, it doesn't do anything. It is super specific. It doesn't count for every piece. Like, I mean, I don't know what to really say here. Like, play her and you will see how completely shitty and useless this ability is. Count the coins that it actually saves you, and the value you get from this is pathetically low. So let's move on to another trainer, that is X. He is actually a trainer that really contests hard for being the worst trainer in the game, but I think he doesn't quite take the cake. More on that later. So his ability says you spend 3 coins to seek out 1 support cache. And this ability on top of it can only be used 3 times per match. That is tremendous. These support caches that you can search out, they are really, really bad. They have shitty stats. They have to die in front of the piece that they actually want to buff, and they grant you like 3 attack or something. Like, extremely bad. Those 3 coins that you spend on these support, like, just spend them on actual critters, on actual cards, or even to refresh or something else. Like, this, 37's ability at least saves you some coins here or there. This ability from X, it literally legit wastes you coins. It is way too expensive. This should be spend 1 coin or something like that, then we could talk. But how it is with spend 3 coins for one of those support caches? Hell nah, never. Then, now we really talk about something that, like, this Anan Lee might actually be the number 1 worst trainer in the game. There's one more trainer that we will talk about later that is actually like almost as bad as this, if not even worse. Like, you make the decision for yourself. I will mention it when the trainer comes up. But this one here is crazy. Ghostfold pieces on allied board gain +1 attack. Like, whenever you want to buff your pieces, you always want buffs for HP. If you buff attack, then it has to be a lot of attack, like 3+, right? Giving your allies on the board, your pieces, +1 attack is extremely bad. And this takes it a step further and only counts for Ghostfold pieces. Not even for every single piece. Like, as I said, this is probably the worst trainer in the game, and never ever even think about playing Anan Lee in Critter Crash, please. Next up we have Medicine Pocket, which has the ability of spending 6 coins to level up 2 frontmost allied square pieces to level 2. This ability can only be used once per match, not per turn. You can only use this once per match. And if you think about it, right? These pieces that you buff, they have to be the front. Yeah, they have to be in the front. That doesn't matter, right? You can put the pieces that you want to buff at the front and buff them, and then take them away from the frontmost space, right? So that doesn't matter. But they only get to level 2. You have 2 units, you level them up to level 2 for 6 coins, and only once per match. Extremely fucking trash, right? Needless to say, like, even if they would have been level 3, or this ability would need to be cheaper. 6 coins for 2 pieces to level 2, like, that is almost never something you even want to do. Again, this is an ability that almost, as well as the ability from X, wastes your coins, kind of. This is a little bit better than what X does, to be fair. But still, like, 2 pieces to level 2 once per match, and it costs 6 coins? Nah, this is trash, right? But anyways, moving on to the next is Getian. Now it was really, really close. I was thinking about it a little bit, if I should put him into the category of bad trainers. Because he at least has a little bit of potential. If you would happen to find mine pieces, you would buff these mine pieces by 1/1, right? Again, this is outclassed by so many other things. Yeah, we will talk about them later, right? Like, this is not even the best trainer to play together with mine pieces. And it is very, very specific. Like, what are you gonna do if you don't even find a lot of mine pieces to begin with? And even if you do, then you only buff them by 1/1. I mean, it is in fact pretty bad. He's outclassed, and his effect, even if you make a lot of use of it, is not even that great to begin with. So I had to put him in bad, but he's not as bad as all the other trainers that we talked about in this category, to be fair. There's some potential here with Gentian, but he's still bad. And now we have the trainer that, is Kakania, and it's either her or An Li. One of those two is definitely the worst trainer in the game. I would go with An Li. But anyways, what Kakania does is, at the start of the round you recover 2 health. Like, you never even want to lose health to begin with, and if you only recover 2 per turn, that is not gonna save you. Like, what do you heal with this for the entire match? Like 4, 6, maybe 8? It's never gonna save your life. It is completely useless garbage. It is, like, as I said, same as An Li. Those are the 2 worst trainers in the game, there's no question about it. Like, tell me something that this would do for you, right? I mean, this is so bad. It would need to be like 5 or 6, or it would be 2 is pathetic. So yeah, there you go. Last trainer in the category of trainers that are all bad is Sotheby. What her ability does is you carry a code rack, and the code rack, that is a support piece that is in the middle, right, a circle piece, and it poisons the enemies a little bit here and there. So if you play Sotheby, you want to stack poison. That makes it so that you have to play not only with the forest pieces, but with the forest pieces that specifically use the mechanic of poisoning your enemies. So not even would you need to find forest pieces. No, you would need to find the specific forest pieces that you actually need. And spoiler alert, there aren't many. I can show you like one example here real quick. It is this cactus carbuncle. It had a big version of it as well, and there are like 1 or 2 more pieces. So in total there are like 4 or 5 pieces that even poison the enemy to begin with, and that is what you have to play together with Sotheby. Otherwise, why even play her, right? Why even pick her if you do not stack the poison? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You would be better off with any other trainer in that case. And I mean, that is way too specific, that is way too reliant on RNG, more than pretty much anything else in this game. So yeah, this is really bad, and that's why he is here. But now let's move on to very good trainers that have key cards. And yeah, they have to, you will see how this goes, right? Good trainers that have key cards that they have to be paired with. And if you pair them with these cards, you have to seek them out. And if you find them, then these trainers are actually really good. Oh wait, I actually almost forgot about Geo. That is also a trainer that falls into the category of really bad trainers. So what she does is you spend 1 coin, and when you enter the battle, you transform 1 piece of yours with the lowest attack into a Lushu, and you do the same for the enemy side of the field. But you buff your Lushu by +2/+2, while you don't buff the enemy Lushu by 2/2. So you are always guaranteed that one of your pieces is stronger than one of your enemy pieces. That might sound quite good, but there is a caveat. Those Lushus, they don't stay on the field. They vanish. There are only these Lushus for this one battle, right? And if you look at what a Lushu actually is, it's a 1/1 unit. So your Lushu would be 3/3 because your Lushu is buffed by 2/2 and the enemy's isn't. And yeah, the purchase effect of this Lushu does not take effect. It is summoned by Geo, not purchase. So there you go, right? It is extremely garbage and useless. She can be played with everything. You could pair her with anything. Like, she will be useless no matter what. Sotheby at least is good if you find these forest pieces that poison. There's nothing you can possibly find for Geo to make her work, right? So yeah, I mean, also extremely bad. Not as bad as X, and Anna Lee, because there is some value here. As I said, one of your pieces is always stronger than one of your opponent's pieces. That's the value you get. But it is still extreme garbage. So that's about it. Now let's move on. We have two trainers that actually fall into this category, and one of them is Liang. What does Liang do? She, when entering battle, she grants a shield to the two frontmost square pieces. And how this becomes really amazing, this is like not bad to begin with, but also nothing special. Like without the right synergy, I would never recommend playing her. But there are two cards in particular that would make this Liang's ability very strong and amplify it by a whole lot. And yeah, it is recommended. You would need to pretty much play her with the Factory Athletes, because the Factory Athletes is all about granting themselves shields and profiting from when shields get broken and all that stuff. So pair with factory pieces. The core piece, the card that you always want to get your hands on, is this one here, the Prop Armor. Because after an allied piece loses a shield, you deal 4 damage to a random enemy piece, and this triggers twice. That is incredible. Per shield that the enemy takes away from you, which will always happen multiple times, right? Liang alone provides you with 2 shields. So one shield gets broken, you deal 8 damage to the enemy side of the field. The second shield gets broken, you deal again 8 damage to the enemy side of the field. This is already 16 damage just with this card and Liang alone. That is incredible. Before the fight even really started, of course. The shields have to be broken, but you get the point. And why do I recommend to play her with factory pieces? That is because they grant shields, they profit from shields that break, such as this one here, and so on and so forth. But there's one key piece again in particular that pushes this strategy like above the edge. You break the ceiling with it if you get your hands on this one here, the Brain Security Bot that I already mentioned when we talked about the Trainer 6. What he does is, when he enters the battle, he grants a shield to all allied factory pieces in this row. So you would want to have him twice. So both of your rows and every single allied factory piece on the field, if you have him twice, gets a shield. So your side of the field will be full with shields. And every single time those shields break, one of those shields break, you deal 8 damage to the enemy side of the field. This is incredible. Now imagine, right? You have like 2 or 3 of these prop armors on the field. It is absolutely ridiculously insane. There is one downside to this though. And that is that you always... Yeah, of course, you have to find these pieces to begin with, and you have to find other factory pieces to begin with to make this really work and make it really worth. That's already a huge downside, obviously. But also there's another thing, that you see this prop armor here, it only has 4 HP. And that makes it so that he will often die after like the first like 1, 2, 3 shields break, right? He is very frail. He will succumb to any damage that your enemy will do that doesn't hit the frontmost target, obviously. Like if your enemy plays poison is a huge counter to this, for example, right? But there are many more cards that deal like damage to a random piece on the field, and if anything of those hit this prop armor, it will just die. So if you find multiple pieces of them, level them up, increases HP pool so that he can actually survive to use his ability. So you will probably never have multiple of these on the field, because level them up, otherwise they will die too quickly and the whole strategy is like completely useless, right? But there you go. If you can make this work with the factory pieces, with the shields and yada yada, together with Liang's ability, this can be really amazing and very fun and very strong. So that's about it. And the second trainer in that category is Lucy. Now, like this is a strategy that really needs a lot and tons of stars to align in order for this to work. But when it does, it's pretty cool. Let's check it out. Lucy's ability says spend 1 coin to seek out a factory piece. Amazing, right? But there is a huge fucking downside to it. And that is that this ability only unlocks at the start of the round if you have 3 dynamos. And that is the big issue that kills Lucy all of the time. Like very often, Lucy, when you pick Lucy as a trainer, she won't even have an ability to begin with. And yeah, the developers were obviously aware of how long this can take and how inconsistent this can be, so they gave Lucy 40 HP. This is the most amount of HP that the trainer can give you. You have more HP than with anyone else. So there you go. Now you have to figure out how do you even get the dynamo? And this is where the huge problem lies, because there are only 2 pieces in the entire game that give your trainer dynamo, and one of them is even pretty bad because it's way too slow. Let's check these pieces out. The core piece is this dynamo helmet. You purchase this, you get +1 dynamo permanently. That is exactly what you want. That is what you dream of, to have this on turn 1 and even multiple of those. This is the key card that you seek out in the early game. Without that card, it is almost impossible to get dynamo. At least get it fast. There is another piece. That is a circle piece that is placed in the middle. And what it does is, it needs 2 rounds before you gain 1 dynamo. So it produces 1 dynamo that is permanent, but only every 2 rounds. So you would probably want more of those, right? More than 1 of those. Don't level them up. You always want multiple of those old machinery cores on the field, right? Don't level them up. That is important. Unless you need space, which will always never happen. And that is the way that you get dynamo. There's no other way in the game to produce you the dynamo that Lucy needs. Of course, there's one other card that also gives you dynamo, but this does not count towards the dynamo that Lucy needs. This is this one here, Prototype Electric Gun. When entering battle, you gain dynamo +3 for this battle. See, this is only for battle, only for the critters, only for your pieces that need dynamo to fight, not for Lucy. That is a very important note. An example of one of those pieces that need dynamo to fight is this here, the defensive security robot number 1. Because when entering battle, for every 1 dynamo, this piece gains +2 HP. And it needs the HP because his HP to begin with is laughable. So he needs a lot of dynamos to actually be able to fight. Otherwise it will die in 1 hit from everything, right? And yeah, this is where this card then comes in clutch. But again, this is not what you need. This is for the late game. This is when you already have the 3 dynamo for Lucy. And the only 2 cards again is this old machinery core and this dynamo helmet. This is by far the best. And if you don't find these 2 pieces to begin with, then you are just screwed and Lucy doesn't have any ability to begin with. But if you do find these pieces and you get your dynamo relatively quickly, like at a reasonable pace, right? Then Lucy's ability is incredibly overpowered, and it's kind of a free win at that point, because for just 1 coin you can seek out a factory piece. This is gonna snowball completely out of control. But yeah, you saw the downside, you need this dynamo, and it is almost impossible to generate that dynamo. An honorable mention here at the end, I think I totally forgot about Noir. Just in case I did, I will record this so I have every single trainer covered in the entire game. And what Noir does, she's pretty good, right? She's not in the bad category or something, she's not specific. She's just a very solid trainer. What she does is, you spend 3 coins to place a random piece higher than the monster dog level into the reward slot. Yeah, and what that leads to is guaranteed value. But it is random, it's a gamble, right? She will give you whatever, but it is higher than your level, than your actual level. So it will always be the best piece that you can buy this turn, right? So spending these 3 coins always have value, they are always worth it, but it is random. You could get any piece into that reward slot. So leveling up your pieces will be quite difficult, and you might not always get what you want, not always get what you need, and everything is based a little bit about just pure randomness. But you get the value. You have to hope that the pieces that Noir produces for you have like good stat lines or something. It doesn't matter which afflators or what abilities they do have, you will never get a synergy going anyways. So you have to hope that she produces you pieces with good stats line, and yeah, that's really all about it. It is not impressive, it is not bad either, it is guaranteed value, but you will never get a synergy going, and it is based on randomness. So mediocre but not bad. Try her out. Can be quite fun, can also be quite frustrating. It's a pure gambling trainer. So yeah, I know there are people out there that like this kind of stuff. It's not something for me. I like to know what I get and work around synergies and stuff. So Noir is not for me, but she is solid and not bad. And that's it for the video. We did it. We talked about every single trainer in Critter Crash. Pretty amazing. Of course, we do not talk about Mrs. Bubble, Via or Isolde in this video, because those are the 3 best trainers in the game, and we talked about them yesterday in my previous video. So I still hope that was fun and informative. If you like Reverse 1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow. I would really appreciate that. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and this event is amazing.